Before summarizing the session, as a chairperson, I take the privilege to steal 5 to 6 minutes to address the state-specific issues. Okay. Good morning, everybody. First, I would like to thank GIS and USAID for that wonderful event and the opportunity given me to chair this session. I am the system operator, head of the system operation in Tamil Nadu, which is the southernmost state in India, which is having a very high wind potential. I'm very proud to say that we are the pioneer in promoting the wind industry. Right from 1998, what happened, we spent so many amount and we found out there is the wind potential in Tamil Nadu, and we went after the wind developers by offering so many concessions. You provide some industries, your wind generators here, so that we'll be giving so many concessions for you. We asked them to develop the wind generation by giving so many concessions to them. We gave them single window approval. We gave them accelerated depreciation. And we had a unique system of giving them banking system. So they were permitted to generate wind during the wind season. And in the non-wind season, we return back the power from conventional energy. That was a very unique system we were given to them. And when the developers also coordinated with us, so many industrial consumers, they come forward to go in for this clean energy. And this is all before this target of 175 gigawatts, which now it is speaking of. So everything went on very well. Our load also grows rapidly, and we were very comfortable till the wind installation went beyond 5,500 megawatt. Then it started biting our own nails and fingers. What happened? We didn't have that much rapid growth. Suddenly in 2012 and 14, up to 15, we had a power shortage, acute shortage. We didn't have conventional power. And that time our wind was helping us very much. Whatever wind was generated, even a single unit was not wasted, it was fully utilized in the grid. Now after 2015, with our future plans, and we brought in so many conventional energy, and now all the problems which has been faced by other developed countries is being started from 2015 and 2000. Now what happened in 2015, we were not aware of this, how to manage the wind. At that time we had a surplus water also in all our reservoirs. So water has to be, we should not waste it, it should not go as a surplus waste without generation. So we had a problem in accommodating wind as well as our hydro, low-cost hydro. But subsequently, unfortunately, 2016-17, monsoon had failed. Our reservoirs have gone below the dead storage level. But we had one, 2,000 megawatt of nuclear power came into our grid. That is state-specific also. We had a major share of around 1,000 megawatt in it. So difficulty arises in accommodating this wind and nuclear power. But recently, we requested them for annual maintenance and other things during the wind season. And 2017, we managed to absorb the maximum wind potential in our grid, that is around 102 million units per day. That is 47% of grid consumption was met by pure renewable of wind. And we managed to take around 6 MU of solar also on the day. So at present we are having around 11 gigawatt of RE sources in our Tamil Nadu. I think almost we have crossed our 50% of target. So we have experienced challenges, issues, and now we have come up how to accommodate a wind into the grid with the intermittency. And other issues we have to think is, yesterday it was discussed, a very fast decision has to be taken in respect of technical issues, challenges, policy challenges, and the commercial also. Even we'll have to think of the solutions along with the cost effectiveness. Commercial things have to come into picture. I would like to address that 2-3 things has to be taken up, because I'm seeing so many young aspirants from institutes. We don't have a data storage. That is that is equivalent to energy storage also. We'll have to have a backup power data storage. That is, we should have all the data, what would happen in the grid whenever there's intermittency of wind, each and every voltage level it has to be there. Bulk data storage with advanced technology should be there. And simulation model should be available. Cost-effective simulation model. We had been to Enrel and they got a very beautiful simulation model over there. Jacqueline is, we are coordinating with them to have a simulation model like that, so that it would be very useful to our system operators. Now, it is a cry of all the other states. Now only they were into this wind and solar. Now only they have started realizing, getting all the problems and challenges. So now it would be a very good market for also developers to come with data storage and simulation model. Even forecast is there. Even if with accurate forecast also, it's very difficult to manage the grid, that is balancing mechanism. If not there, it is very difficult to balance the grid with intermittent fluctuations during the day. That is, intra-hour balancing should be there. That should be there. Policymakers should take a hand with them. And nuclear should be addressed to go for annual maintenance during this wind season. Till now, there's no any such grid code for nuclear plants. Because yesterday, nobody was addressing that flexi generation regarding nuclear plants, which is in Germany and France. I don't know how far it will happen in India. At least we have to coordinate with nuclear people that they should program their annual maintenance during this May to September in India, so that it would help our grid to managing this thing. And as we told, we are already having this HVDC in coordination with Power Grid for 6,000 megawatt, right from Chhattisgarh to Tamil Nadu. So they are taking up for around 4,000 crores. And we should thank GIS for their funding, KFW funding and other things for in constructing our transmission corridor for 2,300 crores within time. And definitely it would accommodate all the wind, but remaining seasons it is lying idle. That has to be taken care with solar integration or something. These are the issues I wanted to mention, these things. Thank you.
So we are clearly over time, but I think we still should have a few questions. So very briefly to summarize, we had a nice fair mix of presenters from the regulatory side, from the modeling side, the academia, as well as the industry as well. A nice balance between some of the impacts of the challenges that are being faced here as well as elsewhere in the world in terms of RE integration, and then some discussion on some of the solutions that might be feasible and economically as well as technically. So are there any questions in the audience? We can probably go for 3. Okay. Go for
I have a query for Siemens, sir. We have the Talcher-Kohler HVDC. As you know, as you mentioned, that's capacity is 2,500 megawatt, but it's operated for 2,000 megawatt only instead of 2,500. That too, 5 hours, 2,350 megawatt in the morning and 2,350 in the evening. Can we go for 2,500 megawatt entire capacity so that ATC can be enhanced?
Can you repeat the question, please? It was.
Yeah, this is designed for 2,500 megawatt Talcher-Kohler.
Yes.
But it's operated only for 2,000 megawatt presently.
Yeah.
And during occurrence, morning 5 hours, evening 5 hours, that can be operated for 2,350 megawatt. Can we fully operate for 2,500 megawatt? That is what our query. So that ATC can be enhanced.
It has been enhanced from 2,000 to 2,500 megawatt.
Yeah, 2,350 megawatt only for 10 hours only. Morning 5 hours, evening 5 hours.
Yes. Yeah. It's quite difficult to design later on or to change existing equipment to design it continuously for 2,500 megawatts. So what we did was also something very new in Talcher-Kohler, that we added some additional device, forced cooling for the smoothing reactors, and improve the cooling of transformer and so on. However, it would be a major thing to install this as a steady state capability. So Tharistor is not the problem, but the other equipment. So it's easier if you design from the beginning. That would be the normal case. But in this case, we had to improve as much as possible. In general, we have some similar demands in other schemes, because we see HVDC is really a very powerful feature, and is really tried to use for the peak demands. And so it's always a balance between also lifetime consumption you have. No? The more you do, the shorter is the overall lifetime. If you go over the design limit, but we try to avoid this. Best is, of course, if we have from the beginning the design requirement, what is scheduled for the next years, in 5 or 20 years.
Hello, sir. Myself BM Shah from SLDC Gujarat. My questions to Marx. In Gujarat, we have a creek of 30 kilometers. So, and we have in our 400 kV there is no major congestion at right now, and we have 6 gigawatt installation of solar, wind and solar in our state. So one question is, so we have facing congestion in 220 kV and 132 kV network. So is it possible to convert existing HVAC line into HVDC line 220 kV? So many lines remains unloaded many times. So if few lines, if converted in HVDC, and financing is not a major issues, but technology, is there any development going on for this thing? And one question, Mr. Kausik Das, Denmark. So we are planning for a real-time integrated grid control system we are planning. So you told that SPS action, can it be centralized? We have so many SPS in our system, but it is localized. So and for what is the path to go for real-time integrated grid control system? Is there available in Denmark at centralized level? These are two questions.
So if I start with a question regarding conversion AC into DC line. As I mentioned in my presentation, this is done now in Germany, in the first German link, which is converting a 300 or 400 kV AC line into 380 or 400 kV DC line. It's possible. It needs to be considered case by case. What is a possible maximum voltage and current rating? The typical way is done that way, that the conductors can be kept, but typically the insulators are exchanged. Yeah, but in many cases, I would say it is possible, but it has to be analyzed in detail.
Sir, is there any consultancy you can provide for these things?
Yes, we can talk about this.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. If I understand it correctly, what is the purpose of going to centralized and instead of decentralized or local control? The SPS is the last action, so there has to be highest level of reliability. So whenever we go for centralized, we have to rely quite a lot on communication systems, and which has in its advantages as well as disadvantages, like communication delay and all those things. There have been discussions about wide area protection all over the world, but I don't know of any special protection schemes in Denmark or in Europe which is using centralized controls. The defense actions are generally local, but we, for example, if it is based on frequency measurements as well as rate of change of frequency measurements, those anyway depicts the total strength of the total network, whereas the voltage is a local problem. So in that way, we get the information of the whole system from the frequency data or ROCOV data in order to do the control, but generally we don't rely on communication. But I know there have been talks in Australia and other places to incorporate some wide area protection schemes and things like that, but I don't know the state of art, whether it has been implemented already or not. There has been quite a lot of research already there, so technology should be there, but it's again decision of the operator whether they can rely on communication or they want to rely on communication during emergency situation just before the blackout.
One last question, I guess.
Hello, my name is Arun. My question is to Mr. Meissler. and he explained the three different cases. I want to understand how the losses are less in parallel converters compared to other cases. Thank you. Thank you.
So comparing the three schemes of UHVDC, the parallel converters. So what is the question? What is the losses? Oh, sorry. Yeah. The statement I made is if you compare to a single converter, I would say the losses are somewhat a little bit lower of the converter themselves, but my statement was if you lose one converter or one converter is under operation, then you still can operate at full voltage 800 kV. So the longer the time is of interruption, the less losses you lose. That was my statement.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, thank you for all the questions, and let's give one last round of applause for all the panelists. Thank you.